Vice President Joe Biden is still weighing whether he will run for president. But as Juliana Goldman reports, the vice president is closing in on his decision.
The vice president laughed off a call for him to launch a run for the White House.
Thank you very much. No, didn't say that.
But people familiar with his deliberations tell CBS News Joe Biden is leaning toward entering the presidential race, and his decision could come as soon as within the next week to 10 days.
It is great to be back with the other HRC.
Hillary Clinton and Biden gave rousing speeches to the largest gay rights group in the U.S. and cast themselves as champions of LGBT rights.
We're going to face some ridiculousness, especially from our friends in the GOP.
There's homophobes still left. Most of them are running for president, I think.
Biden also reminded the gathering of prominent activists and donors that he prompted the White House to support gay marriage.
Some of you credited me with taking a political risk or thought I was doing something special, but folks, I was just answering in a straightforward, direct way what I've known my whole life.
Clinton declined the keynote address to appear on Saturday Night Live, where she played a bartender serving, well, Hillary Clinton.
Let us then tap our fists in friendship.
Who poked fun at the Republican frontrunner.
All anyone wants to talk about is Donald Trump.
Donald Trump? Isn't he the one that's like, you're all losers?
For more on politics, Kevin Cirilli is a political reporter for The Hill. He joins me now from Washington. It's good to see you, Kevin.
Nice to see you, too. Thanks for having me.
Look, when you look at Biden at last night's annual human rights campaign, he and Hillary Clinton were saying similar things. It's just that he said it in a much blunter way. There are homophobes still left, most of them running for president. It's pretty shocking. What would be the impact on Hillary Clinton if he decides to get in the race?
Well, there's no question that Vice President Joe Biden really showed last night how effective of a candidate he can be. And this strikes a remarkable contrast to Hillary Clinton, who we all know has struggled to connect with voters on the stump. And so, you know, I really think that, quite frankly, when you look at the struggles of Hillary Clinton's campaign, whether it's her Secretary of State record with Benghazi or, of course, the email server controversy, it's why you're seeing a self-described socialist in Senator Bernie Sanders surging, partly not because of the far left appealing to them, but also as a protest vote to Hillary Clinton. So Joe Biden really represents an alternative to more pragmatic progressives who are more moderate and perhaps more looking for a bipartisan type of candidate. And that's really bad news for Hillary Clinton.
All right, I want to turn to the Republican side now and Jeb Bush, who's today facing criticism for a response he made Friday to the shooting in Oregon. Let me play it.
We're in a difficult time in our country, and I don't think more government is necessarily the answer to this. I think we need to reconnect ourselves with everybody else. It's very sad to see. But I resist the notion, and I had this challenge as governor, because look, stuff happens. There's always a crisis. And the impulse is always to do something, and it's not necessarily the right thing to do.
I guess that's raising eyebrows that he said stuff happens, but it's not the only time that he said something that raised eyebrows, that anchor babies, people need to work longer hours, that women's health programs are... Okay, here's the question that I have, though. When he does it, eyebrows raise. When Donald Trump says something that raises eyebrows, he does it intentionally, and it doesn't seem to have any impact.
Well, 2 quick points. The first is it's always tough to politicize such a terrible tragedy, especially so soon after it's happened. And, you know, and I think that the details of that tragedy are still continuing to emerge. And the acts of heroism are still continuing to emerge as well. But regards to politically speaking, you asked point blank about the difference between when Donald Trump does it and when Jeb Bush does it. You don't have to agree with Donald Trump on any issue, but there's no question that people believe that he says what he thinks. Jeb Bush doesn't have that luxury. And so I really think that the establishment in Washington, while has very consistently raised a lot of money for Jeb Bush, is at a crossroads. Is this someone who is really going to be the type of candidate that can reach independent voters? Is that type of rhetoric after a mass shooting really the type of rhetoric and tone that the Republican Party wants to put up? That's, you know, it's a tough question, but he's still hovering at about 10% in the polls. He needs a game changer, and he has yet to get one.
At this point in the race, you're seeing a lot of candidates trying to brush up on their foreign policy credentials.
Yes.
Trump is very similar, and he's addressing once again the Syrian refugee crisis. Here he was on ABC.
We don't know where they're coming from. We don't know who they are. They could be ISIS. It could be the great Trojan horse. I mean, this could be one of the great Trojan horses ever since the original. We don't know where these people, they have no documentation. They have no paperwork. There's no way they can prove where they're coming from. And I'm saying we're going to take in 200,000 people that we have no idea where they come from. And I said, I would absolutely not do it.
You know, it's interesting because he's not the only one raising the question of how do you make sure that you don't have terrorists sneaking in with your refugees. The warning bells have gone out across Europe. Even Pope Francis raised the specter of this. But somehow when Donald Trump puts it as a Trojan horse, does it minimize the plight of refugees?
Well, you know, I think that the images coming out of the refugee camps as well as the news reports speak for themselves. But with regards to Mr. Trump, I would just raise the issue that I think that he has clearly shown that he has the personality and political chops in order to be a front runner of the Republican Party at the moment. But does he have the policy chops? And as this race continues to inch forward closer and closer to Iowa and New Hampshire, I think that voters are going to take a second look about which candidate passes the commander-in-chief test. That's not for me to decide. That's up for the voters to decide. But I do expect there to be a lot more pressure in the coming weeks and months ahead about specifics of Mr. Trump's policy proposals. And look for Jeb Bush and John Kasich and Senator Marco Rubio as well to try to push those notions and specifics too.
Kevin, it seems like it's become de rigueur for serious political candidates to go on Saturday Night Live. And Hillary Clinton, it's not her first time at the big show, but here she was last night. Let me play it.
I'm just so darn bummed. All anyone wants to talk about is Donald Trump.
Donald Trump? Isn't he the one that's like, you're all losers? Do you think he'll win the primaries?
He must. I want to be the one to take him down. I will destroy him, and I will mount his hair in the Oval Office!
Well, that's kind of a lot. Maybe you should take a vacation.
A vacation?
A vacation.
Vacan change? What do you say?
A vacation.
Did somebody say vacation? Oh my God. They're multiplying.
Well, I guess I should get going, but this has been so nice. You are really easy to talk to, Val.
Oh, thanks. You know, that's the first time I've ever heard that.
Oh, Val. I wish you could be president.
Yeah, me too.
You know, she followed that up with a tweet saying a vote for Hillary is a vote for 4 more years of Kate McKinnon's impression. Yeah. Not so subtle. That's who's playing Hillary Clinton in that slot. I don't know. When you look at the numbers here, Kevin, the latest USA Today Suffolk University poll shows the most frequent words that come up for Clinton when they're asked in a survey are liar, dishonest, followed by untrustworthy, fake. Does an appearance on SNL change that?
No, the short answer is no, but I do think that, you know, when you watch that clip, is Hillary Clinton finally having fun on the campaign trail? I mean, she's talking to Lena Dunham one week, now she's on SNL. I do think that she's trying to showcase a little bit more of her personality, but I gotta tell you, this October, when she's testifying on Capitol Hill, facing heat from Republicans about her use of the email server, is only going to add to her woes. This FBI investigation into the email server is another political controversy. And not only is she taking heat from the far left of the Elizabeth Warren Socialist Sanders wing of the Democratic Party, now she's got the more middle pragmatic wing of the Democratic Party taking her on in a could-be presidential run from Vice President Biden. And so, yes, it looks like she had a lot of fun last night, but let's see if those poll numbers move in the coming weeks.
Serious business there on the campaign trail.
Very serious and no joke.
Yeah. Kevin, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one.